It was muted, I think. I'm sorry about that. The mic was muted. It started already. It's live on Twitch. It's live in game. Alright. So you're live. You go to the Gigabyte app. Reach पे तो zero yours है. We have not lost anything.
I'm so sorry.
Why is the mic not working? We started from somewhere. Mic नहीं चल रहा. Okay. Hello guys, this is the second match of Illusions versus Neckbreak and the score stands 1-0. Neckbreak have taken this match away and in the commentary box with you is Zach and Diabolic. Over to you, Diabolic.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have seen that Neckbreak has won the first round and it's the second match going on, Neckbreak versus Illusions. The match has already, the draft is going on. Neckbreak has already banned Earthshaker while Team Illusions has banned Winter Wyron. So what do you say about the first ban of Neckbreak?
Pretty standard bans coming in. If you look at Neckbreak's bans, they have taken out the Storm Spirit, possibly shutting down all kinds of aggressive gameplay from Team Illusions if they decide to pick one. Probably the strat contains heroes that are too volatile to a Storm Spirit. You don't want to fall prey to an Orchid Storm Spirit or an early Bloodstone which will transition him into a very hard carry late into the game. If you get Snowball on that Storm Spirit, it's going to go out of control. So they have taken care of that. Now the Leshrac ban is no surprise at 6.84 has seen a lot of... 6.84 is not clear. It's clear now? Okay. 6.84 has seen a lot of Leshrac bans, so this comes as no surprise to me that Leshrac has been taken out by Illusions and they really need to get their game together if they want to win this one against the Neckbreak.
Yes, so we have seen the Neckbreak has picked Gyrocopter now. Gyrocopter in this meta is so overpowering. He can take, so early game, what he has to do, just make a Helm of Dominator, farm so easily, stack camps for yourself from by Helm of Dominator and get a BKB if you have so much magical damage going on in your opponent team. So yes, first pick of Gyrocopter on Neckbreak is a very good idea. In the previous match also, I think Neckbreak played Gyrocopter as a hard carry.
Yes, they did, and in fact they executed it very well. So it comes as no surprise that the Gyrocopter has been picked once again. And this new meta calls for the core heroes to be picked at first, leaving the situational supports later.
So now Team Illusions has banned Leshrac. Well, Leshrac is so overpowering with his Diabolic Edict and the Pulse Nova. And also if he rushes the Bloodstone as soon as possible, he will become a menace. So yes, the banning Leshrac by Team Illusions was very crucial. And now Spirit Breaker is picked. I suppose the Spirit Breaker must be an offlaner, but yes, I personally prefer as a support because he can just buy Romance so easily. He's so versatile, charging everywhere, especially on the supports. He can take supports very easily as they're too squishy to take.
And Illusions can definitely go for a Vara pick as a +1 because they'll be seeing a lot of ganking potential on the Spirit Break over there. And constant charges, and with that Queen of Pain, it's quite justified. You can have just quick pick-offs from Illusions if they manage to get it all together. Because a few good wards and good map awareness will make sure that they get those frequent kills as the clock ticks away. It's not going to be passive farming for Team Illusions anyway now, since they've gone for the Queen of Pain pick.
Yeah, but Spirit Breaker can just buy a Smoke of Deceit for himself as so as to avoid the vision the opponent team is coming. So yes, now Team Illusions have picked now Queen of Pain. Well, yes, she's so versatile and mobile. She can just roam so easily by blinking away. She can also dodge the skills. And Neckbreak has picked Bounty Hunter as a second pick. I think we can expect a courier kill. We can expect a courier kill between T2 and T3 towers. You can just place a ward in between the towers. And also guys, we will be announcing some giveaways on Twitch channel. So we want an immense response from you. Also, if the in-game match happens to cross 100 plus spectators, so 2 fortunate viewers will be receiving some nice drops. And also, this stream is brought to you by BenQ, Gigabyte, Dragon War and Raid Force. So please keep tuning in this channel.
So as we always say, don't do it for the game, do it for the drops. And we are hoping to cross 100 spectators over here. Also, I would like to say that if you pay attention to this game, you're probably eligible for a giveaway at the end of this match. So you might want to pay attention to the GPM, probably the heroes picked, as well as the players playing those heroes, as questions will be asked to you. Depending on how many answers you give, you are eligible for a giveaway. I think they are giving away Dragon War mousepads. So you really want to watch this game and not miss a moment of it. And with that, they have picked an IO. Team Melion's really going for a predetermined strategy here. And this is going to be opening up spaces for a Tiny as well as a Sven maybe. They could potentially pick up any of those heroes that they synchronized beautifully with the IO. And with that, the ganking potential of Team Melion's has skyrocketed. And Neckbreak are not really afraid. They have gone for a Tusk and a Bounty Hunter. So even they are going on the aggressive stage. And a Tiny has been picked. Following Team Melion's have been followed the IO pick with the Tiny pick, and definitely we are looking for some good rat Dota from the IO Tiny, coupled with the Aghanim Scepter, and the Assault Cure is going to be unstoppable, and we are looking at 2 to 3 hits on the tower to make it crumble under his sheer strength.
Yes, it will become a very critical situation for Team Illusions if they happen to lose this match. They were already must be so despondent that they lost the first match against Neckbreak. So yes, they want to secure this match by just they instantly pick Tiny after IO. I think they are confident enough with this lineup. Also, Neckbreak has banned Klings. Well, do you think that banning Klings was so crucial for them? Do they consider this as a threat?
If they got a Klings ban, they are probably thinking about something, because heroes like Gyrocopter and Bounty Hunter are very squishy, and if followed by a Spirit Breaker, there's a Klings looming around somewhere, you're always in a danger of getting ganked and killed, because Klings is that hero which picks off heroes very easily. Even though he's squishy, he really relies on kill before you die, that kind of strat. So kill or be killed, so they have taken care of that Klings, as well as the Clockwork, possibly avoiding any kinds of aggressive ganks from the Illusions. The first Spirit Breaker break being the first precautionary step that the Neckbreak has taken to take care of any gankers that Illusions might introduce.
So Team Illusions has banned Silencer as 4th, and Windranger is banned as a 3rd. Well, Windranger, yes, if she happens to go mid, she can just farm Blink Dagger and Maelstrom. She can just pick off so easily. So yes, banning Windranger was very appropriate. As for Silencer, he can just Queen of Pain can consider Silencer as a threat because she's all over reliable on her magical skills like Sonic Wave, yes, of course. So now we are waiting for Team Illusions' 5th ban. While Neckbreak has picked Templar Assassin, she will definitely go for mid against Queen of Pain. I think Templar Assassin with her refraction can farm very easily against Queen of Pain. So we can see an intense match against Crowley and Templar Assassin.
What I think about the Windranger ban is that they've picked an IO Tiny, so they're possibly looking out to remove any heroes that chain stun these heroes. So Witch Doctor could be a potential pick up by Neckbreak here, but the IO Tiny pick clearly tells a lot that the Illusions have their strategies shaped and predetermined of how they are going to dominate this game. Let's see what Neckbreak has to offer to counter this strategy, but in the end it all drops to gameplay, and how well are you positioned on the map is what depends on the outcome of this match.
Yes, so I think Team Illusions are focused on banning some silence heroes. So now they have banned Disruptor. They are afraid of silences because they are all reliable on their skills like Tiny Stun and IO's Relocate, Spirit Breakers Charging. They want to become a hitter till the last game. They wanted to make secure that they can last to the late game. So yes, they are banning all the silence heroes like Disruptor. Yes, he was very crucial. And now Neckbreak has banned Lion. Well, yes, Lion is a very nice support hero as he has Disable plus Stun. So he can just roam so easily. Even at level 1, he can just farm wood and then get a Blink Dagger if you are very cooperative in farming and ganking. And now Team Illusions is having a tough time in thinking as a last pick as an offlaner. Or maybe I think Spirit Breaker can be an offlaner. What do you say?
I think Queen of Pain is a good potential offlane. You could have a Tiny IO mid, but then again that's highly improbable against a Templar Assassin because she's going to get all the farm she needs possibly. So the Queen of Pain could be an offlane, but potentially she could be a mid as well. You could have a Spirit Breaker roaming around the map, getting those few kills in. The Bounty Hunter, however, is going to be a big nuisance for Team Illusions. They have to watch out for their courier as well as some aggressive warding, as we saw yesterday in the semi-finals of the game. There was a Bounty Hunter was quite harassing, I think, on the game of SG and Bad Excuse. So a Dazzle pick has come in, a very defined strategy. Team Illusions, they are going to be very aggressive in this game, probably looking out to take some towers, and with the Dazzle pick, their pushing strat has increased considerably. Also, Dazzle is a hero that can keep Tiny alive for long durations with his Shallow Grave, as well as the immense amount of heal that he provides. Possibly looking at a mechanism on the Dazzle, which will make Team Illusions very strong in their draft here. Neckbreak concludes their draft with a Crystal Maiden pick. which is going to be a support for them, position 5 babysitting support, and probably going to babysit the Gyrocopter. She synchronizes very well with him with her second skill, which is going to make sure that Gyrocopter lands his Locket Barrage correctly on heroes that she freezes.
So ladies and gentlemen, the match has started between Team Illunes and Neckbreak. Break a leg, both the teams. The game has commenced. We can see that Frenzy has picked Tiny, so he will be definitely going to mid with IO. So I thought that Queen of Pain will be doing mid, but it's now the other way around.
Meanwhile, we have some friendly chat in the spectators, in the game chat, where Templar Assassin is just amiably chatting with his opponents and teammates. And no is the answer given by Queen of Pain. No chance on the Queen of Pain here. Very formidable player. So we are looking at an extent from NB into the Radiant jungle, while two of the Radiant team, that is Dazzle as well as the Queen of Pain, are going to be caught there if they are not really cautious about it. Bounty Hunter scouting ahead as well, using the invisibility spell to his advantage. There's a pause, I think network issues. And I'll take this time out to again remind you guys that there is a giveaway after this game. So if you're really paying close attention to this game and answer a few questions about it, you're eligible for a giveaway of Dragon War mousepads.
Yes, and as I said, I'm telling this again, that this stream is brought to you by BenQ, Gigabyte, Dragon Ball and Great Force. We apologize for this technical issue that the teams are facing right now. And we can see the whole Neckbreak team has gathered at the bot lane, while at top we can see Spirit Breaker, Tiny and IO have gathered at top to fetch the rune.
Apparently Zedisberg has disconnected. He's a very good support player. Plays position 5 for Team Illunes.
So, by seeing the draft, I think Team Illunes is much more capable, has much more potential. But let's see the gameplay played by both the teams. As Neckbreak, we can see that Crystal Maiden is a very good support. Everyone likes Crystal Maiden as a support. Well, I'm sure you also be liking Crystal Maiden.
Oh, I just love that Arcana, that's all.
Yeah, okay. So Bounty Hunter will be a support. He has got one pair of Sentry Ward, while Tusk will be doing offlaner. Gyrocopter will be a hard carry, and Mr. Crowley is Templar Assassin, and Frenzy will be Tiny with IO. I suppose I'm expecting him to be roaming with IO, and he will also be stacking camps for Tiny as well, so that he can just maybe farm his Assault Cuirass and then go for a Ram Scepter.
Yeah, we'll be looking at a very well formed Tiny, and the assault part will be done by the Dazzle, I think, with that ultimate that he uses, Weave, I think. I'm not really sure. So that skill will make his team opponents buffed, while the opponent team will face a loss of armor, and that can go up to huge amounts. So that is something that they want to watch out for, since Tiny is a very feared hero when it comes to right click attacks, and early into the game he can burst down enemies using the avalanche as well as the toss combo. So that is something that NB need to look out for. But as I said, well-placed gangs could really be in the favor of NB. They have a Tusker over there to quickly pick off the Dazzle. So before the Grave comes up, Tusker is going to probably pick him off, and then the Illune's strat will fall apart, just crumble to the floor. So that's something they want to watch about. They want to keep that Dazzle alive long enough to cast the Grave as well as a few spells, that is the Shadow Weave.
So at level 1, Spirit Breaker has already got a dust for Bounty Hunter so that he can charge Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter will be doing aggressive warding. The game has just got resumed, and they got the respective runes from their lanes.
I think support Bounty Hunter is something that we have seen a lot in this meta, and it's quite harassing, and it's all mind games when you're picking a Bounty Hunter against the opponent team. There's always a fear of you getting ganked or being out of position that the Bounty Hunter can take advantage of, and that track is really annoying with that 4-second cooldown in the 6.84 meta.
So yes, as I expected, that Tiny is with IO at mid, while Templar Assassin is solo mid. Well, yes, we can see that Crystal Maiden is also there with Templar Assassin. She's making sure that Templar Assassin gets maximum farm at mid lane, and she has like warded this area for her, to see the runes, to see the ganking going on. At bot, we can see dual lane is going on. QOP and Dazzle are at bot, while Bounty Hunter and Tusk have gone for aggressive lane. In this era, that dual lane is much more common than tri-lane, as it used to happen in the earlier meta.
That is something that usually pubs stick to, 2-1-2 strat, but this meta has seen a lot of differences being curbed from the pub games as well as the professional games. It's all about the gameplay in the end that matters, and what kind of a strong draft you have. 50% of the game is won when you have a strong draft, and the other 50% is all about your confidence as well as the gameplay you execute. So the skills that you carry with you to the arena is all that counts in the crucial moment, and when to press the right button is what makes you win Dota. And there's a gank at mid, and Templar is in real trouble here. We'll be looking at a first blood over there. She has a refraction and popped at the correct timing, and Crowley is going to escape barely, but I think he had all planned, and just at the right moment he popped that refraction. There's a toss from Tiny, but it wasn't enough to kill him. And it was not a very successful gank for them, and Frenzy will have to probably regenerate before he can do anything in his lane.
So sad. We actually have gotten maybe first blood, but yes, she was very fortunate enough to escape away with her refraction, and you can see it lasting very long. Oh, sorry, we already got the first blood. Crystal Maiden took the first blood by killing Spirit Breaker at top lane. I was expecting it at mid.
Okay, so I think we missed that one up there top, and Gyrocopter apparently got the best of it. He got a good experience from that kill. And looking at that lane, they are very overpowered after all, because Crystal Maiden can use a second skill to freeze the enemy in place, and then Gyrocopter can just finish it off with the Rocket Barrage. So very overpowered lane if you ask me, and if you are talking about a solo Spirit Breaker, he's going to be in trouble. So there's another aggression, again the Rocket Barrage and second skills combo, and he's going to fall. Easy now. Okay, he just used his salve and he just escaped. That is a miracle, and they are extending. They don't want to stop at this. The Gyrocopter is extending, so is the Crystal Maiden. They're trying for jukes, but the Spirit Breaker falls to the Rocket Barrage. I think that was very well played from the Spirit Breaker, but he fell to the aggression of Gyrocopter and Crystal Maiden. Surprisingly, there were no teleports despite the huge aggression showed by Neckbreak. So Illusions really need to keep an eye out for teleports up top.
So I think Spirit Breaker is having a very tough time. He even can't take experience in his lane. So yes, I think he just have to take some at least 3 level to charge and gank.
Just looking at the last hits over here. So we have 20 last hits on the Templar Assassin, probably leading. She got a lot from that gank here. And at mid we are, I think, looking at a gank over there, and Templar is very low, but they managed to secure a kill on the Tiny over there. The Spirit Breaker is in real trouble there, but the IO comes to the rescue. I think, will the Templar fall? No, there's a refraction charge that's popped instantly and it ends. Will the Templar fall? Yes, she will, but not before she takes the IO. And the double kill for the Crystal Maiden over there as well. So 3 for 1 is the trade, and Neckbreak lost their solo mate for Tiny, IO as well as Spirit Breaker. I think that's really huge.
So we can see at 3 minutes, the evil Ashe as Crystal Maiden is on killing spree. She had just got double kill at mid. Well, what a support.
That was good rotation from Neckbreak, I think, and they absolutely deserved that kill. So aggression, time and again being showed by Illusions. I think they are pretty sure about what they want to execute, but Neckbreak curbing, just suppressing their strategy with their counter initiations. I think the rotation was excellent, and that is what Illusions need to watch out for.
Yes, Team Illusions is lacking some rotation by supports. They are actually some safeguarding at mid or the bot lane with Queen of Pain. Now again, they are trying to play aggressive against Templar Assassin, but she's farming so freely. Even she doesn't need any support right now. She's with her refraction, she can just manage so easily. And now as we can see, Bounty Hunter is like blocking the camp so that IO can't stack. Obviously, he's aware that IO is must be trying to stack the camps for Tiny by stunning and tossing. But Tiny is waiting for the again.
I'm feeling really bad for the IO here. Yeah. He's not going to get stacked even though he did it at the correct time. So Bounty Hunter really successful in annoying his enemies. He didn't, poor guy didn't even know that that did not get stacked. So it's going to be a huge shock for them as well. So right now we are seeing that the Crystal Maiden and I think 3 of the zeros are just extending a bit too much. The Tusk as well as the Crystal Maiden, and at mid we can see the Bounty Hunter just making sure whether the IO comes to stack again so that they can make sure the kill is there. Meanwhile, bottom lane we can see Queen of Pain as well as the Dazzle freely farming, and Queen of Pain getting all the farm she needs in her life. There's a lot of pinging up there, up on the cliff area, and will we see something over here? IO is there, he does not have a relocated. Of course, he's level 3, 5 minutes into the game, but he has his spirits popped up, and this is a rotation. Yes, there is second skill from the Queen of from the Crystal Maiden, and there's a snowball up there. While he's going to be tossed, but I think the sheer power that Neckbreak executes is just too much for the Tiny to handle. He will fall. And now the Templar Assassin just not giving up, chasing on the IO. Behind the Illune's team is chasing Neckbreak, so they don't really care, they want that IO kill. And Bounty Hunter takes that one with the Shuriken, while there's a scream from the Queen of Pain that she gets a double kill. And now the Templar will fall as well. That's a triple kill for the Queen of Pain. That's brilliant rotation from her. And 3 people wiped out for 2. Illune's lost both their mid heroes, while Neckbreak lost the Templar Assassin, so that's really huge. The Queen of Pain got a lot on that one, so she's the one who actually emerged victorious in that fight.
Well, yes, that was a very nice game for Team Illune's team. Illune's had been playing so defensively, but yes, Neckbreak had just got so aggressive on them. They were so curious to chase IU, to take the killing streak of Crystal Maiden, but they were unable to do so.
So I think this gank was something that actually favored the Queen of Pain and the Illunes. But if you look at an overall score, then Neckbreak is certainly leading this one. And nothing can be said at this point though. It's very early into the game. But we are looking at a lot of aggression by both the teams. So this is going to be a really interesting match. No more passive farming. And Tiny is really buffing up on all the farm he gets from the NC. He lost a lot on the mid lane, going aggressive with that. He has only 20 last hits as compared to the Templar who has 35. Queen of Pain is the farmer for Team Illunes, as you can see, 35 last hits.
So we can see most of the wards had been done by Neckbreak. Only one ward is there by Team Illunes at the bot lane to see whoever is coming to gank
There's
QOP.
a gank on the
yes, there's a charge on Tusker. Let's see what will happen. I think he was just going to withdraw it. Yes, he just
Crystal Maiden casting that frostbite just in time. While IO comes to the aid, and ultimate cast by Spirit Breaker. While Crystal Maiden is really in trouble here, and 17% only. 17% only. Will it hit? Yes, it will. That's a third bash in a row, and the Spirit Breaker actually managed to back that kill on Crystal Maiden.
He got a killing streak. That was very huge advantage on him.
So all that I would have want to say on that occasion is that 17% only is something you want to note. The bash only hits 17% out of times, and they got 3 bashes, so they got really lucky on that.
So Bounty Hunter is literally roaming among them, and they're actually not aware of it. Only sentry walls have been planted by Neckbreak, not by Team Illunes. Actually, it would have been the other way around. They should have planted some sentries because they obviously know that Bounty Hunter is among them. He was
There's a charge up top, and I think Spirit Breaker is just going to retreat. They went in there on that gyrocopter, but decided otherwise. Meanwhile, mid sees some action over there. Is there extension? Yes, there is. The Templar Assassin now going to get stunned by the Avalanche. There's a toss by the Tiny. Very low the TA. And Melstrike coming in, not really giving up. Look at that regen. Look at the Psyblades acting through. And Templar gets that kill on the Tiny very easily actually. And the IO is definitely not going to live. Poor guy is going to die with 4 people on his tail just chasing him down. The gyrocopter with excellent rotation and that ultimate made sure that he fell to his...
So had he had relocate, he was just level 5. Had he had the relocate, he could have saved Tiny by relocating him back to the base.
Snowball from the Tusker, and that's a grave on the Dazzle. And he's going to use his third skill to actually heal. And there are TPs while Tusk is really deep into the enemy territory. He doesn't even care. The Avalanche coming in from the Tiny is going to get tossed. The IO is there to aid him. He's going to fall easily to the IO there. And bad aggression showed by the Tusker. He actually went in for that kill. And there's a Crystal Maiden who's caught as well. There's a toss and she will fall. So that's a double kill for the IO Tiny combo over there. And 7-9 Illunes are recovering partially. I think Neckbreak are extending a bit too much with it, are they? There's a charge meanwhile on mid, and Templar is going to be targeted. There's a scream from the Queen of Pain, and of course the dagger is cast on the Templar. She's in real trouble there. IO is relooking as well. There's an ultimate and being wiped out. The Tiny and IO came in as well to completely secure that kill. They don't want the Templar Assassin really living through this. No matter what kind of teleports come in, they are going to take care of them. And now tier 1 is being pressured while the relocate duration ends, and they're going to be TP back bottom, I mean. So good aggression showed by both the teams, and this is a very interesting match. We are not seeing any passive farming.
Yes, only constantly ganking has been going on. This game is becoming so intense. Everyone is, so ganks are going on at every 1 minute. Okay, there's a smoke on Tusker and Crystal Maiden. We can anticipate a gang at the bot lane. They are scouting someone at the jungle. It's warded. It's warded by Neckbreak, and they can see Tiny and IO farming. Bounty Hunter is also there. He just gave 1 hit to Tiny. Okay, but they say they are withdrawing. They don't want to.
He does not have a track there.
They don't want to dive in so much because they know if they would die so much, there will be constant TPs going on by Team Illunes. So yes, it's better to withdraw this.
I think the neckbreak are really coming to the senses now and playing safe, because if they go really aggressive on that, they could actually end up throwing this game, which they don't want to. And maintaining a lead is excellent right now. They are in the calmest of mindsets, because they are 1-0 right now, so they really don't need to worry that much as Illunes need to. They really need to take care that their throne is intact, their contendership for the grand final, first prize at the grand finals of Rage Quit Cup Season 3.
Yes. If this game happens to go for a long, happens to drag so much, then yes, I think the game will be favorable in terms of Team Illunes, since the Tiny will be so fat. He will become a menace with Assault Cuirass, Manta style.
And we are seeing a lot of advance of bottom, and Bounty Hunter is one who's going to be targeted with 4 people out there bottom. I think the whole team is there, and Tusk is really going to escape by the skin of his nose. He was going to fall as well, but Illunes know better than to be aggressive under the tier 1 tower. Io is going to fall meanwhile. I think we missed that one on mid, and instantly there's a charge by the Spirit Breaker is going to cancel it. He knows better than to charge on a TA.
So what do you think Templar Assassin will be going for a Blink Dagger as the first item?
Looking at the amount she's saving, a Blink Dagger is the only probable option, because she's going to buy a Desolator, might as well have got a Mithril Hammer. There's no point in keeping that kind of Swiss bank money in your account if you're not really purchasing something instantly. So she's going to save for a Blink Dagger, because that costs you like 20 to 50 gold.
We can see that Bounty Hunter must have been planning to make arcane boots and then mechanism, or maybe make some good nice items like Desolator if he happens to make the money from tracking heroes.
I think he just buy wards right now, because tracking is something that's long away for him. He's a support. He's going to be roaming out there and making sure that the enemy feels scared that he's there. Even though he does not have levels, there's a presence that always scares you, that there will be a Bounty Hunter who's tracking you and the enemy knows exactly where you are. I think there's activity at mid there, and Crystal Maiden is going to frostbite the Tiny, but there's Io to rescue him. So action avoided over there. Io came as soon as possible, and that fight was averted.
Actually, the ward has been placed by Neckbreak on the high ground from Team Illunes side. So yes, they obviously knew it that Spirit Breaker was charging them, so they immediately withdrew it.
That is a very good ward to place, but also the common of places. So I think Illunes really need to get a sentry up there, and that is a probable location for a ward. Even if you look at the bottom side where the runes are, bottom rune is there, the ward has been placed quite simple. There's nothing that's quite advanced to place that ward over there. So they should have dewarded that as well. But Illunes are really not on the top of their game today, as it seems.
So I think the first item for Queen of Pain would be Eul Scepter, so that she can just maybe dodge. Yes. So at top we can see
the Rocket Barrage and Frostbite combo, easy kill for the Bounty Hunter over there, and I think he KS that one if I'm not wrong. But the track gold is shared by everyone, so no harm done. The Templar Assassin getting tossed, but the refraction actually taking all the damage, and she's just gonna run back. Meanwhile, there's a counter initiation from the Gyrocopter, getting that ultimate in the Rocket Barrage, just pounding on enemies. The Tiny is looking in real trouble here, and Templar Assassin with one hit of the Melt Strike is gonna take care of the Tiny over there. They are going for the Queen of Pain, Frostbite acting on her. Will she be nuked down before the blink comes? Yes, she will. It's a double kill for Templar Assassin. Another Melt Strike acting beautifully in sync with that refraction. It's a team wipe for Neckbreak. 14 minutes in the game, and Illunes have been wiped from the face of this earth, and the score is 9-15 right now. Tier 1 is heavily pressured, and mid tower will easily fall if there's no support coming in from the Illunes soon.
It's a complete catastrophe for Team Illunes, as they had completely been wiped out by Team Neckbreak. They had already lost one match. The score is 0-1 as in the best of 5 series. So the team which will be winning this series, Rage Quit Cup Season 3, will be taking 75,000 to their home.
So I think first prize is 125. That's what everyone will be voting for. No one is thinking of 75 right now, because both the teams want the 125 over there. And they're really working hard to make sure that they take the first prize home today.
Yes, also a massive trophy has been placed in the Barrels casting studio. It's very huge, and yes, it would be very exciting to hold that trophy if you happen to win this series.
It's very appealing, in fact. It's just stationed opposite from where we are casting, I think.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing the way they have crafted it.
Now we can see there's a charge on Tusker. I don't think he would go for this kill, because yes, there would be teleports going on, and also there's again a ward by Neckbreak. They had actually did this warding actually at very intelligence level, because they knew that Spirit Breaker would be charging, and yes, he's not bringing us Smoke of Deceit. So they can see every charge happening going on by Spirit Breaker. So he immediately retreated it. Now there's an easy tower going on by Team Illusions. They want to take the bot tower of Neckbreak, but now the fortification comes. Team Neckbreak don't want Team Illusions to take the bot tower, and instant TP is going on by Gyrocopter. Also, he want other teammates to defend this tower. We can see that only one tower has been taken by Team Illusions as of mid tower and also by Neckbreak. So yes, not of much pushing game is going on. Only constant ganking has been done by both the teams. While we can say that Neckbreak is leading so much in terms of Team Illusions, and also Desolator has been done by Mr. Crowley as Templar Assassin. There's no Blink Dagger, no BKB, and she will be giving so constant damage, especially to IO and Dazzle, as they're too squishy for her.
What I think right now is, if you have noticed that both the teams have carries that are very well in good in the mid game as well as the late game. So there's no carry that really requires a lot of farm to be very good in the end. Carries like Tiny and Gyrocopter can very well sustain on ganks as well, because they have good potential and good nukes to deal damage early into the game. You speak about Tiny is the avalanche as well as the toss. The Gyrocopter lives on his ultimate call down as well as the rocket barrage. So both the teams really not looking into only late game carries. They are looking at something that gives them power mid game as well as late game.
So his Tiny and IU wants to take someone at mid lane. That's why they're standing at mid. They are just compromising their bot tower. It's just a trade of one tower going on. So we can see Team Illusions have already taken the top tower, while Neckbreak had managed to take the bot tower. So it's a like trade of one tower. You take one tower, I take one tower. It's just like that. They don't want to defend. They're just compromising it, and they're focused on farming. So if they happen to go on late game, they can just win it easily. So yes, Team Illusions is still in favor of winning this game as they have Tiny. You know, Tiny becomes like so tanky with Assault Cuirass. So now again Bounty Hunter is making such a threat for them. He's just standing.
Up there. I think the jungle is heavily being pinged, and there's activity with the IO. The Bounty Hunter has spotted him, and now Neckbreak is extending on that IO. He has no idea that 4 people are actually chasing him with that 5. And IO is going to be in real trouble. He's going to teleport out with a beautiful tether on, I think, the Spirit Breaker over there, and that's excellent gameplay from Zedisburg over here.
So he was like quite aware, so that's why Spirit Breaker was standing in front of him so that he could just tether and teleport. It was a very nice idea. I mean, intelligent gameplay played by Team Illusions.
It's 9:15 right now, and Illusions and Neckbreak. So looking at some activity here, Templar has bottled a haste rune. We will be looking at that in gangs, or it could be a distraction. That's a very good rune to catch for if you're a Templar assassin. There's a charge meanwhile. There's a heavy pinging on the Crystal Maiden over there, and the Spirit Breaker with his ultimate initiates, and there's a Walrus Punch on the Spirit Breaker, while the Templar gets a kill on that with that Desolator. He's just mowing down the enemies. It's an ultimate from the Crystal Maiden. She's in the trees. No one's spotting her. Queen of Pain with the ultimate over there. And there's the use popped on the Crystal Maiden over there with that Queen of Pain will fall. So will Frenzy fall here. The Tiny, it's a triple kill for the Templar. She's just jumping from one place to another. I can't even follow her on the map. The amount of melt strikes is just insane over here. If you look at the fight recap, the damage done is 3.9k from Neckbreak, while Illusions could only manage a total of 2000 damage. In terms of the ultimate, that was beautiful play from the Crystal Maiden here. I think we have Evil Ash on the Crystal Maiden from Neckbreak, and he's doing excellent on the support today. He's on the top of his form, as you could say. And Templar is currently sitting on 10k network at 19 minutes. If you look at that Blink as well as the Desolator that's just used, not to mention the 2.3k gold that's sitting idle in her account wise, the Spirit Breaker charging so much. So he's extending a bit too much. He's going to pay with it, is it now? The Frostbite coming in. There's the Tusker, not wasting a moment's time. This is a Rocket Barrage, and 17% will hit him, but he's going to fall. So is that pure greed that he extending on that one? And I think Roshan is what they are calling for, and Neckbreak is going to go for Roshan. I think that charge was very
inappropriate. That was very inappropriate charge. I don't know why he became so careless. He was actually aware that if the 5 men were standing with each other, and there were no towers to teleport for his teammates to come. And also Roshan is being taken by Neckbreak. And also guys, if we happen to cross 100 plus spectators in this game, 2 fortunate viewers will be receiving some random drop. So keep tuning in this channel. Also the Twitch is also available of Dota 2 India. Now you can see that Queen of Pain is very lacking farm. She had got free farm at bot lane. She had also got triple kill, but she still has got one bottle, one use and one power threats. She's actually way behind the in farm. While Templar Assassin, she was at mid. That is Crowley has Blink Dagger, Desolator, and has now Aegis of Immortality. She can just, I mean, she had been fighting so intensely in the gang. She was F5ing, and now she had got Aegis. Now it would be so difficult to fight in the gang to take her even at once.
I think if you take that Templar Assassin out, you're going to get a huge amount of gold, and that is something that Tiny must really target for, all the Queen of Pain. If you kill that Templar, then they are going to get a huge amount of gold. That's just what I want to say, and they're going to get a lot of good items from it, not to mention the huge experience boost, as Templar is currently sitting on 15 level. So before she buys anything, I think they should move in for that gank on the TA. She's on a streak if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Even Tiny was at mid and he has just got Ram Scepter. He just cannot fight at mid with even Io. Even Io cannot heal him so much with so of less farm. He has just got Earn and a boot, and that's not enough. You cannot just fight like in this for these items with Templar Assassin, with Desolator, and Neckbreak is determined to take the T2 tower, while I think Team Millions should compromise this, and actually they're thinking to compromise it. They are planning to take the T2 tower while Queen of Pain is taking her free farm at bot lane and just pushing the bot area, and she's also taking some hits at the T2 tower, while there's also a TP going on from Templar Assassin. Tiny has just stunned her, but is it so sufficient?
That's a beautiful initiation from the Gyrocopter. I think it's a dominating streak with that. The Tiny, the shallow grave active on him, and look at that beautiful ulti from Queen of Pain. She actually managed to get the Templar very low, and she's not going to give up. Look at that Melt Strike, dealing a huge amount of damage. The Spirit Breaker just charging in, and that is going to be cast with the Frostbite, and he's going to fall as well. So the Tusk is going to get a kill, and the Gyrocopter is going to be on the unstoppable streak with a triple kill on that. So team wipe once again. The Eliones have been wiped from this game, and 925 is the score. Really looking down for the Eliones here. They need a miracle to come back into this game. They went in for the Templar, but counter initiation from the Gyrocopter made sure that the Templar lived. There was a cloak pop right on time, and that's why the Templar lived, I think. And she did not give up. She just blinked in and started with that Melt Strike on the Queen of Pain, which made sure she got that kill. So hats off to this Gyrocopter with his initiation here.
Yes, it was a very intense gang. With Templar Assassin, she did not even die once. She had even Aegis. So yes, it was so impossible for Team Eliones to take her down even for once. So Tusk was there to snowball her in his, to snowball in her, the snowball. But yes, that was a very catastrophe for Team Eliones going on. The score is 925 to Neckbreak. Neckbreak is leading right here. I think this game is now in favor of Neckbreak. I'm not thinking, it's very much obvious. I don't know what Team Eliones should do. I mean, they should compromise all the T2 towers, and they just can be focused on farming, and then they should take the advantage of high ground by fighting at T3. Only I think this is the only possible way I'm seeing. What do you think Team Eliones should do to get back to the track?
I think the Templar is quite deft in her skills, and she uses them to advantage. The refractions are always off cooldown, and even when it's casted, so she makes sure that the 6 refraction charges are actually exhausted before she casts another refraction, which is already off cooldown, and that is the reason why she survives all the ganks, because Tiny as well as the Spirit Breaker and the Queen of Pain waste all their skills on the refraction charges, and then they are counter initiated by the Gyrocopter with his ultimate, making their abrupt end a possibility. I think Bounty Hunter just ensures the extra gold from the attack, and he's always there to toss those shurikens around, making sure he gets any of the kills that his teammates miss.
I mean, Gyrocopter has nothing in his inventory. He has just got Helm of Dominator and Drum of Endurance. It's been 24 minutes still. He just got the triple kill. But yes, we can see a gank at the top lane. There's a snowball going from Tusk with Templar Assassin. IU just melted on one hit. Now Tusk is determined to kill Dazzle. He has just got tracked. And also they managed to kill Tiny as well as Dazzle. Also now Mr. Crowley is a godlike right now. Also, what do you say? I mean, this game has become so one-sided in favor of Neckbreak. There's a charge going on Gyrocopter. Also, Queen of Pain has just teleported. She has just missed the Sonic Wave by 1 millisecond.
Okay, and I think Gyrocopter was the one that was sacrificed by Team Neckbreak to get those 3 kills on the Eliones team. So that's a fair trade if you ask me. And considering that he just got his Sanjay and Yasha in, he did not have much to lose over there anyway. He was just split pushing and making sure the pressure is still on when they got that kill on the Gyrocopter. The one they really need to kill right now is the Templar Assassin, who's in a very threatening position and could end the game at any moment. The next fight they win, probably going to wipe out and probably going to go for the rack straight. And that's going to be the end of Illions. So it's going to be 2-0 if they don't really play close attention to ganking the Templar Assassin right now.
So also now Neckbreak has done the aggressive warding. You can see a ward at this area. Yes, they have got the very nice vision of Team Illions going on. I mean, also Team Illions has warded this area for themselves too. But yes, these two wards are quite close. They can, Neckbreak has very nice advantage of placing this ward. Plus also this ward, they can see anyone happening to get out at the base. Now there is smoke coming on from Team Illions. Also there is a charge on Templar Assassin. They want to take Templar Assassin. They want to take the godlike streak. Also now Blade Mail has powered by Spirit Breaker. There's a rocket barrage going on Spirit Breaker, but Dazzle had shallow graved him. Will he die? Yes, he will die. Now Techrowley is that beyond godlike. She had just melted Spirit Breaker.
That's really a stupid way to throw your game, because Spirit Breaker is just in YOLO mode right now, I think, because he's just charging without any ideas of what's going to happen to him, and he actually used his ultimate on a reflection charge, and that's 3 people taken out by Neckbreak on the Illions side. Really looking dire for Illions over there. I think that ultimate was not really required from the Spirit Breaker. He had the knowledge that of course there would be a refraction popped on the Templar. The way she blinked out, she knew that there was a charge coming in on her, and her team was all ready and all set. So I think he panicked over there, and that is where the Illions lost out on 3 kills over there.
Now Bounty Hunter has a blink dagger to track them so fast as possible. But yes, Tiny is having a wait of time. He wants to defend his tower. But was it worth it? Was it worth it? I know he had just been shallow graved by Dazzle, and he's determined to fight Gyrocopter. And now we can see the buyback status. Let's see the buyback status. Tiny has no buyback. He was just standing at the T3 tower. Now Templar Assassin had just killed Queen of Pain, and also intense gang going on. GG has been called by Team Illions. Neckbreak now won the second match. It's 2-0 to Neckbreak.
It's 2-0 right now, and we end this game with a beyond godlike Templar Assassin, Mega Kill Bounty Hunter, and Zack and Diabolic would now take your leave. So hope you enjoyed our casting. See you in the third game.